Gary, can you hear me? Okay. I guess we're up and going then. We'd like to welcome everybody to our city council meeting. Whoops, I'll start over. I think we're recording now, so I'll start over. Welcome to our city council meeting, February 11th, 2025. Glad to see you. Thumbs up, Gary, and welcome.
Thank you.
See, Eric, could you lead us in the pledge?
I would love to.
Tony, could you give us a prayer?
Yes, I could.
Please stand and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, as we gather together this evening at the commencement of our city council meeting, we wish to take this opportunity we have to express thanks and gratitude unto thee for the blessings that we enjoy. We're thankful, Father, for the opportunity which we have of serving the community, and we're grateful for the peace that we enjoy here in this community, and for the love and support that we extend to each other and to one another. Grateful, Father, for the freedoms that we enjoy, and for the opportunity which we have of living in a country where we can enjoy those freedoms, and that was granted up to us. Father, we ask that thou might bless us at this time as we go about the business of the city, that we may act in accordance to thy will. We might do those things that are for the benefit of our community and our citizens who live here, that we might always act in a fair and a just manner. And we ask that we might always have thy spirit to guide and direct us as we conduct the affairs of our city. Father, we're grateful for those who have provided these freedoms for us, and ask a special blessing to be upon those in the armed forces and our first responders, and those who take care of our emergency, not only in our city and county, but throughout our country. And we're grateful for those who have sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms in the past, and we're grateful for their sacrifice. Help us, Father, to always remember that and to honor them. And again, Father, we ask that thy spirit might direct us this evening when we say these things in thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Well, has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes of the council meeting, December 10th, 2024?
Got a question, Steve.
Okay.
Regarding ordinance, the 2414, the subdivision regulations, in the discussion part, Janet, Teresa, it says a draft of the result of these discussions is reflected in the attached draft. I didn't see that.
What page you on, Gary?
Probably
Right on. Hold on.
the first or second page.
In the packet.
Yeah.
So we do have a correction on the agenda, that it's not the minutes of December 10th, it's supposed to be the minutes of January 28th. What do we do with that, Gary? Because we posted it wrong.
Well, it's posted wrong, or it is, to explain what the problem is.
So on the agenda, it says the item that states, where is that? Oh, where is that agenda? It says to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2024, and it's actually January 28th, 2025. So the agenda was posted with the wrong minutes on, for approval on it. So do we just have to do that at next meeting?
But that's what I would do, is just put it on the correct date for the next meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to postpone those because the agenda is incorrect.
But if you look over
It's
here,
it's the right.
it says
December.
Yeah.
All right, so did you get that?
Did we still approve of the warrants?
Yes.
Okay, but back to my question that we haven't answered that yet. Look on
Okay,
the
on
ordinance.
on the
2414.
agenda, which part are you looking at on the agenda?
He's on the ordinance.
On the ordinance for the
draft.
minutes of the January 28th.
On today's agenda, it's item
Page
2.
four.
It's 4 on the PDF file
On the packet,
in the packet. Yeah.
it's the actual ordinance.
There's a discussion paragraph. The very last sentence there references an attachment that wasn't there.
Page 4.
On the hard copy.
Yeah, it's page 4 of the PDF.
On the packet. Go back. He's talking right here, a draft right there.
Yeah, there we go, right there.
That sentence right there.
We apologize. We'll go ahead and when we do these minutes approval
Okay.
at the next meeting, we'll make sure that draft is in it.
Okay, so is that a separate attachment or are you just going to make it part of the minutes?
It's gonna, Gary advised us that because there was so many changes that we
Right.
did, that it would be best if we attach that draft
Like
to
that.
the minutes. Well, attach the draft to the minutes for, which were already approved. Yes, we'll attach them to the minutes, but we're now gonna have to table that till next time because it was
Right. Yeah, there was some robust discussion on that
very much.
subdivision and all we have is a reference of a draft that nothing. showed
Yeah,
up.
Gary said it was so many changes that would
Sure.
be hard to do it in the.
You got your work
moment.
cut out. I understood.
So when we do, on the next meeting, we'll do the minutes for January 28th and probably this meeting as well. And then we'll make sure that draft.
Sure, that
Thanks.
works. Good. I'd be willing to make a motion, Steve.
Okay,
I move that we table the minutes of the city council meeting of January 28th, reference December 10th in the agenda, and approve the warrants of, I've reviewed those and would move to approve warrants of 124.25 to 27.25.
Second.
okay, we have a motion from Dave, a second from Tony.
There's a lot of talk on that. Yeah.
To revisit
Wants to be part
the
of
minutes next council meeting and approve the warrants. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Mayor, may I ask a question?
yes.
Have we made a motion to approve of the agenda?
We did not.
Not yet. I went past it.
That's okay. I'll make a motion that we approve of the meeting's agenda for tonight.
I'll second Tony's motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Janet, that's unanimous.
Now vote on the warrants. Because we've had a motion and a second.
I thought we did.
Well, wasn't that on Tony's consent agenda?
That was the second vote, wasn't it?
Oh, did we? Okay, we're good then. Never mind, sorry,
We can go to,
confusion.
we go to the Jumbotron and do a replay.
Oh, we're good, I'm sorry.
We'll zero in on you, Eric.
Okay, let's move on to our citizen comments. I see there's 2 participants. Is there any comments?
One's busy.
One's busy.
Yeah, Gary can't wait.
Yeah, I can't see anybody online raising their hand, so we'll move on. Let's go to item 4, active agenda. A, review action, accept annual financial audit report that was given last meeting. Chuck Palmer. Is there any more discussion on that?
I have a couple of comments.
Okay,
I think it's maybe worthy of noting. First one's on page 6 of the audit, but it's the page 9 of the PDF. Business type activities. The very last sentence says the water, sewer, electric, and sanitation funds had operating incomes, in parentheses, losses, if they're in parentheses, but incomes of 165, 392, 293,000, and a deficit in the sanitation part. Last year, I remember, and I went back a couple of years and compared what those amounts were. 2 years ago, we had 3 of those 1, 2, 3, 4 categories that were in a deficit position. Last year, we had the electric, all the other 3 were out, but the electric was in a, what they're calling a loss position of 538,000. And I remember asking Ty about that. And his statement was, we think we have it under control, that we've did our rate study and changed our rates. And I would just note that that 538,000 deficit is now a 293,000 surplus, meaning an $832,000 change, if you will, or swing. So Ty, I would just commend you on your work there, because you said it, that should solve the problem, and it clearly has. The one question I'd have, though, is the internal service fund had an operating loss of 119, maybe, and that's our vehicles and so forth. Maybe just comment on that if you would.
So we bought a vac trailer last year that isn't part of our rotation. So under it's vehicles and equipment. We bought a vac trailer and forgot to do the journal entry from each department. So each department paid their portion of the vac trailer. So sewer, water, all the departments use it. And that journal entry didn't happen until after the budget year was closed out. And so now that deficit's been rectified in the current year, but we missed the journal entries before the end of the year.
So a timing issue then, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a special purchase, but the expense was recognized, but the revenue from each fund that had a proportionate share of that trailer didn't happen until after the year was closed out.
I knew you'd have a good answer.
It's been, yeah, so that's been fixed.
Okay, thank you. 3 more pages down on 12 of the report. I'm not sure what that is on the PDF. No, I don't have that handy. It's the statement of revenues, expenditures, changes in fund balance, governmental funds. Again, just a question, quick one for Ty. Capital projects, we had a public works expenditure of 1.138 million. That reduced our fund balance from 4.7 million to 3.3. Just what was that for?
So that was our road project from last year. Pretty significant project, just like we have one more this year.
Okay. I suspected that's probably what it was. Just monitoring the funds. I mean, you've got some wiggle room to still work in there, but you couldn't do that too many years and have funds left. Maybe lastly, just a statement of cash flows. Again, a positive in my mind. We look at, and these are the proprietary funds. Looked at each one. You look at each one of the water, sewer, electric, sanitation, and with only, I think I think all of them ended up with a better cash position at the end of the period versus the beginning. So would commend you there, Ty, for the work that you did on that. When Mr. Palmer was here, he mentioned that, he had favorable comments on the city and the work that we had done. And as I looked at the financial statement, I would echo that. That's all I'd have, Steve. Thank you.
You.
Mayor, may I ask?
And I would also say though, excuse me, Tony, but thank you, Janet and Ty and staff for watching that and keeping an eye on it. Because they do look good. They look strong. We've got some good cash positions that we can continue to operate. And as Eric reports from time to time, that's not always the case in some of these small towns. So thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
So, just a comment. So in the past, whenever we've had this year-end audit, they've been kind enough to bring us a little booklet that has the year-end audit. I find that kind of helpful, and I'm not sure why we didn't have that available from them this year, but I would certainly like to have that available in the future. I mean, it's a little more handy, I think. So I'm not sure why he didn't do that. Is it the same auditor?
Yeah, they didn't let us know that either, and that's why we kind of missed providing it to the council, is because typically we get the hard copy. They bring a hard copy and I missed the email and.
Well, we get the advance copy in the packet to look at, and then the hard copy, I think, is provided there as we meet.
Yeah.
Seems like.
All right, just a comment.
Tony. That's nice to have.
It is nice to have. I find it pretty helpful. Anyway.
Okay. Is there any more comments? Would we have a motion on item A?
Mayor, I'd move to accept the annual financial audit report for the period ending June 30th, 2024.
I'll second it.
Okay, have 2 seconds. That's good. We have a motion to accept the annual financial audit report for ending June 31st, 2024. And a second from Tony. Jeffrey?
Aye.
Jeff? Aye. Tony? Eric?
Yep.
Dave?
Aye.
Okay. Janet, that's unanimous. Okay, our guest of honor. Well, I wasn't looking at you, Lance.
Sweetheart, huh?
Item B is a road maintenance bid award, and we have our road supervisor here to kind of go over that. I talked to Lance earlier, and he's quite excited about this. So Lance, did you want to comment on anything?
I guess I can give you a quick rundown of what's on the agenda for this year. Near as I can come up with, the west end of Young Street from State Street to East Canyon Creek was last overlaid about 25 years ago. And it's getting towards the end of its.
I think we turned up so we could hear.
It's getting to the end of its lifespan without major problems. Over the last couple of years, we've had some major blowouts on the west end due to some drainage problems and whatnot. So we've been working on this for quite a while so we could get this ready. I wanted to go to bid the first week of January, which I think we did this year. What we've got planned is in order to fix the drainage problems, and we just thought it was time. We don't want to overlay the road and not finish it. So we're going to do finish the curb and gutter and sidewalk improvements to the Francis house on the south, and we're going to leave 2 houses on the north that won't get the curb and gutter and sidewalk. Our storm drain ends there, and that puts us close enough to the bridge that at the time that something happens with it, it gives plenty of room to tie in to our improvements. On the south side, we're going to do a 8-foot concrete trail instead of our typical, now we're a 5-foot sidewalk. We're going to do a wider trail. Basically looking long-term, I probably won't be here, hoping for, a trail connection out into the county, down Morgan Valley Drive or something, or even future trail access along East Canyon Creek, going towards the south. And then as part of it, so we'll do those improvements more on the west end from, 300 West. And then we're going to do what they're calling a wedge mill, from State Street all the way to East Canyon Creek. We're going to, about 2 feet beyond the white lines, we're going to mill down 2 inches and taper it up to nothing in about 8 feet. And then we're going to do about a 2-inch plus overlay. We're going to shoot for a 3% crown and get the crown built up in the road to help the water shed off the travel lanes. There's no crown left in it. It's flat. It holds water in the wheel ruts. So hopefully the shoulders are, even with the age of the asphalt, still in really, really good shape where they don't get the traffic. So we'll overlay the travel lanes. I think that's getting to be a pretty common practice. As I've talked with Jones and Associates, the cities are doing that because obviously that's a lot of extra money to overlay the shoulders if it doesn't need it. And then in 2026, we'll do a chip seal over the whole thing and it'll just look like a new road. So.
Yeah, you went over that with me, that today or yesterday?
Yesterday, I think.
Made a lot of sense,
Yeah.
and I wasn't quite in my head aware that it's an awful narrow bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Anyways, and then going to bid really early, we had 23 plan holders that got plans from the engineers, and we had 13 bids. When you consider that, typically we'll get 4 or 5. A lot of interest in projects this year, and we got really good pricing, and we're comfortable with the contractor. And just for, I guess, your information, we did this last year on our project, and with where we're doing, affecting so many residents with the curb and gutter and that, on the 20th at 6 o'clock, we're gonna do basically a neighborhood meeting, send out flyers to everybody, have them come here. I'll be here, Matt with Jones and Associates will be here, and Parsons Estimator and their foreman on the project will also be here. We'll be able to sit down and go over everything with everybody all at once and kind of go over the project with us so everybody knows what's happening.
Would you do that via Zoom also?
Well, I wouldn't, but I guess we could we could probably add that in. I don't know how.
Maybe you'd be singing a song or something.
Not a bad idea. We did that last year for the Deer Run Drive project, and I think it really helped the project and helped
Yeah, it's
a
a
lot of
great idea.
confusion. The only thing I thought was missing, we didn't have the contractor come, and we'll do that this time. So.
Yeah, may give a little more access on the Zoom if somebody was still at work or something.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Mayor, may I ask a question? So Ty, on this bid, this Parsons bid, last night in COG, we had this discussion about the money for the West Side Street Trail. Is that in addition to this bid, or will that money go toward this bid?
So it'll come out of the bid.
It'll,
So the project's 1.2, so
300.
maybe I can,
300 of it will, 315 of it will You come from the COG.
We'll come out of that. Yeah, so last night in COG meeting, so you know, those are Jeffrey and I and the mayor, Ty were there. We reviewed and had a discussion on third quarter applications. The city had an application for this West Young Street Trail in the amount of $315,171.69. So in COG, the motion was made, a second, and it was approved to take money from the third quarter local option sales tax, which is, what's the correct word I'm looking for, which is under the auspices of the COG, I guess would be the correct way. And it passed. So this 315,171 now goes to the county council for a final approval. If county council approves it, then this is the money that I was just asking Ty about that will come from the third quarter sales tax that the COG has some authority over, and it'll go towards this project, if that made sense. So that was done last night in COG meeting. So hence that was the question I was just asking Ty. So it will reduce this bid amount by that 315,000. That correct? Is that correct?
Yeah, if you want me to respond to that? So the whole project's 1.2. Out of the current year's operational budget, we're gonna spend 600. And then we have the 315 from COG and the remaining 300,000 from capital improvement. So it's a pretty big project to only have to pull 300,000 out of capital improvement.
Yeah, amazing.
That's awesome.
That's kind of the plan for this year's. Is that, I don't know if that helps or not, but that's kind of the financial plan of how we're gonna do this project.
No, that did help. And I went home and I thought about it last night. I thought, okay, that's part of the project that we approved at COG last night. So
Yeah, so what we did is we took the sidewalk trail portion of the entire project. We took that part out with the engineer estimate, with the actual pricing that we got. And that's what we asked COG for, was basically to fund the trail
yeah,
portion, and we're doing the surface.
that's the 8-foot wide concrete trail on the south side, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody, I guess.
That's awesome.
I think if we ask Jeffrey and Tony that the COG's working good.
Yeah,
Very functional.
Yeah.
Thanks.
and they were very accommodating for that because hopefully it will connect city to county, future movement. It fits with exactly what the plan of and the purpose of COG is. So they were on board with this project.
Yes, our council of government functions much better now than in previous years. So it's been a big benefit for us, and we actually know what monies we have coming in and what we can, what project.
Well, and a
we
big
can
part of
spend.
that's having Ty here and
Huge
Kate
part of
from
it.
the county has been
A huge part's been tied up.
help them
And Kate.
all stay on yeah, that we're all on the same page.
So, Mayor,
Tony,
are you ready for a motion?
I am.
I will make a
Motion
motion.
in the air for it.
I will make a motion that we adopt resolution 25-02. It's a resolution authorizing an agreement with Staker and Parson Companies for the Young Street Improvements West Project, authorizing further negotiations and change orders necessary for the completion of the Young Street Improvements West Project.
Second. Okay, we have a motion from Tony to accept resolution 2502 and a second from Jeff. Dave,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Tony,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Jeffrey.
Aye.
Hey, Janet, that's unanimous. Thank you. Thanks for your work, your effort, Lance, on that.
And I just want to say, once again, thanks to you guys and Ty. We've, last year with Young Street and when we did the connection to the bridge, and then again with this year, uh, being able to go to bid January 1st, be able to decide what we're going to do over a year in advance and work towards it. It makes a difference. We're getting a lot of work done for the money we're spending by being able to plan and get ahead of the game like that.
An
So
efficient way of doing it.
Okay, thank you again. I don't know if you're gonna get her out of here.
Busy.
Sure is a good girl, huh?
Okay, let's go to item C. Resolution for appointing members to the Planning Commission. Okay, so brought up in the last council meeting, and if I need to apologize, I'm certainly willing to. My understanding was that I appointed those on the Planning Commission. And I think Teresa can attest that I've, like you, used you a ton. And it isn't something just that I just jump into, but Teresa has just been a peach to help me throughout the whole city. She has a good knowledge of the people, and we talk extensively about it and take it very seriously. So if I'm out of line, I apologize. I just actually thought it was what I was supposed to do. I do want to say one thing in sort of that style of appointing planning commission is I don't think we need to debate about individuals and have it seems like it'd make it a little bit more stirring the pot all the time if we had everybody, and honestly, Teresa can attest to this. I don't know many of them like personally. In fact, I think I've only made one appointment that you didn't know, and that is Becky Hendershot in the 3 years we've been doing it. So I'll open it up and certainly want to follow what I'm supposed to do. So if there's any discussion or comments, I'd love to hear.
Mayor, can I make a comment as well?
Yes.
So, this is, this is one of the fundamental, I guess, powers of the mayor, both in the form of government that we've elected to move forward with, which is a 6-member council form of government, as well as the strong mayor form of government, in that the mayor does make all appointments to boards and committees. That is really the prerogative of the mayor, and you're kind of seeing it. You're seeing that on a federal level right now, right? You're seeing that the president appoints members of his cabinet, and yes, there's a lot of lobbying, that type of thing behind the scenes, but the impact on the local level is not quite what it is on the federal level, because on the local level, it is just simply advice and consent. It is the mayor typically makes the appointments. If there's a concern on the part of any council person, of course, they lend their input to it. But the ultimate power to appoint rests with the mayor. And so he can consider what's said. There's relatively no argument. There may be many times conversation, and many times beforehand, if the mayor elects to, he can ask for, like he did with Teresa, for names of people that we think might want to serve in the city. Because quite frankly, planning commission pays so well that there are so many people lining up to get on the planning commission. It's really tough to turn them away. But the mayor has to make that tough decision and thin out all of those folks and come up with a couple that are willing to serve. I'm being facetious, but we appreciate the people that end up serving on the planning commission. And it's not the mayor's fault when something doesn't appear on the agenda, that it's my fault for not reviewing it properly, because I knew that those appointments were being made. That's my job to double check that and to make sure that those are made properly. But so if there's any blame to go around, but just so you know, it's not the same as it is on the federal level. Thank goodness. Otherwise, and it's not even the same as it is on the state level, where the governor makes his appointments, and it has to be approved by the Senate and the state the House. This is a 6-member council form of government, and there's one person who has that authority to make those appointments, and that is the mayor. And so I thought I'd just kind of clarify that, because you know, it's a little different than our big brothers with the state and biggest brother with the federal government. So I hope that helps clarify. But and I did appreciate Dave bringing up the fact that there's a procedural step that we need to go through, because it is in state law and it's also in our local ordinance. And so that helped a lot, and kind of emphasizes the benefit of a work meeting, because many times those issues can be caught in the work meeting rather than in the general meeting, you know, where the council's all together and they can say, well, isn't this supposed to be, you know, this way or that way? And so work meetings are very helpful in that regard, and your crazy attorney would have caught it probably at that level. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify and let you know that that's.
Gary, would it make sense to change our code and eliminate the advice and consent of the council?
I don't think it would, because it is actually a fundamental power of the mayor under state law. And I realize you guys make up your own rules as a 6-member council as to how your leadership is run, but it really is, it's a fundamental principle, and the advice and consent is really, I get what you're saying, Dave. You're saying, well, why have advice and consent at all? And I think the issue is, if there's any comment that needs to be made, the council has the opportunity of making it. But like I said, generally that it would occur in a work meeting. For example, if you knew that the person was a convicted felon and had just been arrested 2 days before for shooting his ex-wife, you know, you may not get the advice and consent of the council on something like that. I'm being facetious, but there may be a reason, you know, that a council member may say, Mayor, would you mind, you know, can I chat with you off the record about this, and just make you aware of some things you might not have been aware of. But
would that power be strong enough that if the council did not consent, the appointment's still valid?
well, the mayor would have to find somebody that at least 3 out of 5 council people approve.
Okay.
So if that were the case, wouldn't we just not pass this resolution? If you know, you had
Yeah.
an issue with somebody that was on this resolution, if you didn't pass the resolution, would
Yeah.
that then mean you'd go back to the drawing board?
He
I
would go
think you'd
back.
need other people with a resolution that we would pass.
Yeah,
So I guess that's your check and balance a little bit, is the resolution itself.
that's true. And I have actually only ever seen that in my entire career twice. And there was very good reason for both instances. So I think for the most part, it is mostly a formality. And so, but
Yeah, it acts as an endorsement in my mind.
it does. Yeah. Yeah, it shows your support,
Sure.
of those people who actually serve. And I think that's a big deal. So
It works.
Mayor? Can, so I really would like to commend the mayor on his, recommendation. He takes a lot of effort and time doing that. And you know, it's not, he asks one person, they say yes. There's been several that have already said no. And so it's not an easy task. In the last meeting, David made a comment that we had quite a few people in one area. And as I went back and discussed this with the mayor and we evaluated his comments, the planning commission is a 9-member commission, 7 that are members and 2 alternates. It was probably the first time in a while we actually have like 2 members in Pheasant Run. We have 1 in Fox Point. We have 1 that's in Deer Valley. We do have 5 in Imperial Estates. And we also have 1 in North Morgan because we always want to have that representative. But I've been doing this for 18 years and it's the first time we've ever had 3 women on the commission. How he worked to determine this, all 7 members have experience. Even the newest one had 8 years of experience previously, that are the commission members. He chose to do the 2 alternates as the ones that are the newest, that have never been probably in any city council or planning commission. That's going to give them a great opportunity to learn throughout the year, especially because we have Gary, who's the best trainer ever, gets to do training every planning commission meeting, which I'm sure you guys are aware, there's requirements from the planning commission now that they have to have a minimum of 4 hours of training, as well as Open Meetings Act training and some other things. So that's all I wanted to say.
Mayor,
Tony,
if there's no other discussion, I will make a motion that we approve Resolution 25-03, a resolution appointing individuals to the Planning Commission and receiving the advice and consent of the City Council. Of course, those individuals are listed on that page.
Mayor, I'll second Tony's motion.
okay. You have a motion from Tony to approve Resolution 25-03, a second from Eric. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are any opposed?
It's like a good group, Mayor. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work well.
You know, Dave and I sit in on these planning meetings. As I guess that's our portfolio, and it is a good group. They do a great job. So, and it's pretty thankless a lot of times as well. So I appreciate their effort and the time they put forth on that in this responsibility. So,
You know,
and Teresa as well. Teresa does a great job as well. So
the last year and a half, they've had some
keeping
good
it,
projects that they've been working on and have handled them well. They've embraced them.
and Teresa
Thank you,
keeps
Teresa.
everybody on the straight and narrow. So she does a great job of that.
And things are changing in city government.
Yep,
Planning Commission has a little bit more of a clout.
yep.
We no longer do a concept, preliminary, or final approval as a city council.
Quick hearing.
Those days
Yeah,
are,
it is interesting.
those days are over, so, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm
Well-
thankful to the council several months ago that we at least gave them enough to take their wife or husband out to dinner.
Yeah, it's thankless.
You know, if the trend continues, it won't be long that we'll be electing planning commission and appointing city council.
Or we'll have more time, we'll have more time to go fishing, Dave. One of the-
Right on.
That was well said, Dave.
Thank you for your,
Unfortunately,
Support.
you're probably
Inside.
right.
You're a has-been.
Legislature.
Kidding.
yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on to item 5. Any city council members have anything to bring us up to date on?
I have one item.
Okay.
I was approached by Kelly Wright. Many of you remember Kelly as our former Morgan County attorney. His wife Lisa is the president of the Morgan Valley Arts Council. And in collaboration with the state of Utah, the Division of Arts and Museum, Excellence in Community, and the State Arts Council, they're planning an activity. It'll culminate as a concert on March 24th over at the high school. But the state arts has money that they fund performances of local Utah artists in rural settings, and so we qualify for that. But they've asked if we would help promote that, and so I would throw out tonight, I've got a little write-up on the event that's coming up. They're going to be in the schools, the 2 elementary schools during the day. And let me mention, it's a group called the Utah's Red Feather Acoustic Quartet. They have 3-part harmonies. They play songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I won't go through all the names of the ones that this group here would recognize.
You remember the one from the 50s, Dave?
Me and Tony are the only, I don't know, that's probably before our time. So it'll be a full day, but they want to promote it. I suggested that and talked with Ty about maybe using our new sign out there that we could help, but would ask for input from any of us here on what we can do to promote it. I'll probably invite them to come to our next council meeting and give a little presentation on it and tell us a little bit more about what it is. So I'll pass this along today and at least get it introduced. And it's an easy one to support, I think.
Dave, is this the same one that Thurl Bailey did last year?
It is, and that one met with some trouble. It ended up being canceled right before at least one time, and so they didn't get the promotion and the activity that they needed. Of course, this is the same group that puts on the Messiah and the Easter program that it fills the auditorium. Thurl Bailey wasn't well attended because it just wasn't promoted.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Comments?
So, yeah, I'll mention this with the help of Ty and Jeffrey. I'll talk about COG for just a second. I've been assigned to COG for some time, and really it's just been in the last few months that it's all sort of come into focus for me. And so COG, we have a couple of pots of money that, and Ty, if I misspeak here, make sure you correct me here, that COG has control over. Is that the right?
Purview to recommend.
Yeah, okay. And that would be this third quarter local option sales tax that we just talked about tonight. And the other one is the Corridor Preservation Fund. And the Corridor Preservation Fund is that $10 fee that you pay every time you register a vehicle. And then, of course, the third option, the third quarter is the quarter of 1% sales tax. And those are the two funds that COG can administer. And I mean, so like I said, I've been on there a long time, and that's just all sort of come into focus for me the last little while. And part of kind of the COG is really becoming very functional now. So, and it's, and so that is the responsibility of the COG is to sort of rank and rate those projects and decide, make applications for the funding for these projects, and then it goes to COG for a vote. And the county commission does the final vote on whether or not to accept that recommendation from the COG. So that's just a brief overlay of what the COG does. So,
And to piggyback on that, thank you to Ty and Lance for getting out ahead and having projects listed so that they can get approval. I think we've got a couple of new county council and even the previous ones that were saying, well, there's more going to the city than the county because we're doing the job and doing it how the state's mandated it. I think we'll see the county start to wake up to the process, but there's very specific processes that they have to follow. And these guys have done a great job to get ahead to ask for the money that's there for COG to be able to utilize.
But Ty mentioned to me that there's a scoring process that's used.
Yeah.
Rank.
That help by being prepared. I'm sure that helps ours rise
Oh,
to a higher level.
absolutely.
And
So the
we-
project that we just submitted was the second highest ranked project between the county and the city.
so
That's a good one.
we're very fortunate to have Ty on board. He's been a great asset to our city, so. And then in addition to what we just passed for our, what was it called, West Side, whatever it was, project that we just passed tonight, the county had a project on the agenda last night too, and it's a trail from the bus garage where our trail ends, and it goes up to the pickleball court, and that was $39,000 or something that was approved for them to complete that trail up to the pickleball court. So just thought I'd give you a brief update on COG, and did I miss anything, Jeffrey?
We are, yeah, there's funds there that we're finally figuring out how to appropriately utilize, so.
Did I get that right, Ty and Gary? I think I did, so.
Yeah, and, yeah, I'd like to thank Lance for getting the whole list together. So it starts with the capital improvement list that we go through every year. We have a lot of projects on there and we accomplish a lot of those projects. It used to just be a wish list. But Lance is on the advisory committee or the working group that helps rank and rate those. The mayor was there, when we created the criteria and ran those through. So a lot of time and effort to get the stuff to COG. It's been good.
And actually WFRC's been a big help.
Huge help, yep. And it's nice having Kate there because this is the first time we've had the county budget and county fund balances explained to the COG. We've never known how much money was there to even ask for until now, so it's been awesome.
It was fact, Jory from the WFRC was explaining to all of it and to the county last night, and it's good to see the county starting to see. Are there certain funds that the county as a whole, it's a cake. Everybody's in the county. There are certain funds that the county's a donut. There's the county and then there's the city that has different requirement, to at least get everybody seeing the same vision. So it was good yesterday.
Okay, thank you. Hi.
So I don't have any personnel updates. Just have and no project updates. I thought I'd just give like 2 grant updates. So we just applied for the BRIC grant, which is Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. It's a FEMA grant that the project is to put an inlet in by State Street in order to be an inlet to the fish pond that we have planned. We've been working on it for 2 years, just the application. So we started with a hydrology study and we started that in 23. And after we had that study, we applied for a grant just to have help to apply. So we got a grant to apply for a grant because there's like 160 items that are all included in the grant application, and it's all technical data. But Jones and Associates have helped us a ton, but we've been working another year, so we've been 2 years in the process just to get this application out. And I just wanted to thank those guys for all their help. So that's how complicated the ask is. It's a $2.7 million project. If we are awarded, I don't have high hopes that we're gonna be awarded, but it's not because of not having a good application. So we're still working through it. If that project doesn't come through, then we can still do the fish pond. We'll just do the inlet on the downstream side of the State Street Bridge. And we'll just have to move one diversion to make it work, but we're kind of holding that whole project up, waiting to see if we get the inlet, because that inlet will not only be the inlet to the fish pond, it'll reduce our floodway for a lot of our residents, because we'll open up capacity on State Street Bridge. But anyway, that BRIC grant application's been submitted finally, so it's kind of I don't know, felt like a milestone when we finally got it done. It's been a lot of meetings. A lot of meetings that I've gone to, and a lot of work on other people's part. So, and the other grant, the Rural Opportunities Grant, we just closed out. So we'll be getting reimbursed the final 10%. That was a $455,000 grant to do the depot and the entrance to the city. And we bought the stage with it, and we did a event space for the ballast. Got a lot done with that.
Yeah.
With that grant. So we spent about 800,000 and had 455,000 in grant, and we'll get 45,500 back since we closed that out. So good project. It's good to have that one wrapped up. That's all my updates.
Okay, thank you.
Good work.
Is there any more we need to talk about? Thank you, Lance, for bringing such a beautiful guest. This- So this meeting's adjourned.
So Gary, when you're at home, you can do that in your pajamas.
I won't show you what I'm wearing below the shirt.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, bad.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
I heard that. She didn't know that she was on video.
Hey, man, whatever.
Yeah.
Might wanna move a little.
Yeah, no kidding.
A piece of tape over the camera.
Yeah, no kidding. That's funny stuff.
I'm not sure he's been in the building since.
There.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
That's funny.
he helps at the family tree.
Oh.
Hasn't been, he's been released from that, but he still goes up there.
Well, I remember that, because a lot of our older, they'd be on their phone and then it'd be like this, and you'd be seeing up their nose and all kinds of stuff. You're like, oh my God.
That's funny.
Oh,
When we were talking today, and it was Lance's idea.
well, all right.
Like, that was a good meeting for us up there.
A short meeting, good meeting.
The trail.
Your idea to what? Okay. Yeah. So I say, the engineer.
I hesitated, I was like, I don't wanna take credit, it's always a team effort, but getting enough meetings and they draw out the process long enough, these good ideas come up.
Yeah.